Let's dive into a wild story. On my wedding day, the bride literally canceled everything in front of the whole crowd, claiming my younger brother was her real, true love. Right after dropping that massive bomb, those two just secretly eloped together. But honestly, I wasn't even mad. Actually, I just cracked up laughing, then casually dialed up my absolute biggest childhood rival, Serena. Over the phone line, Serena's super pleasant voice immediately rang out. "Well, this is rare. Why'd you suddenly decide to call me today?" I just smiled and replied, "I'm getting married today. You didn't even know, did you?" Serena scoffed lightly. "I already sent over a gift for your big wedding today. Don't tell me it was too cheap and you literally called just to mock me about it." "Nope." I kept smiling brightly. "I heard you're still completely single, so want to consider getting married like right now? The wedding is completely set up here, but we are currently dealing with a very slight shortage of a bride." Before I could even finish saying that there was a huge sudden thud from the other end of the line. Serena frowned and asked really cautiously, "Ethan, are you actually serious?" I just nodded. "When have I ever lied to you? See?" Serena went totally silent for a moment before suddenly bursting into loud laughter. "Ethan, do you realize the consequences if I agree? From now on, every single day I can only do things with you." I totally caught the hidden meaning in her words, and a huge, happy smile uncontrollably spread across my entire face. "All right then, I will wait for you for exactly half an hour." After hanging up, my best buddy Carter, standing right beside me, gently patted my shoulder to comfort me. "Honestly, man, Serena is actually pretty great too." I just smiled and nodded. "Of course she is." I chose Serena for literally no other reason than this. Ever since elementary school, we were desk mates. 3 years of middle school, 3 years of high school. We were practically classmates together for a solid 5 years. Except every single day we met, we bickered endlessly. Back then, I honestly didn't understand why she always fiercely opposed me. It wasn't until a car accident, seeing her recklessly rushing over to save me while completely ignoring the danger, that I suddenly realized the truth about everything. Right at this moment, a knock on the door suddenly interrupted my thoughts. The MC of the ceremony asked, "Mr. Ethan, is the bride's side fully ready? The wedding ceremony is about to begin." I smiled and replied, "Just give it another half an hour." I firmly believed Serena wasn't someone who would ever break a promise. Here is where it gets crazy, guys. 20 minutes later, Serena arrived right on time, leaving me completely astonished. She wore a gorgeous high-end custom gown with every single detail meticulously styled right down to the very strands of her hair. I honestly began to suspect if she had been secretly preparing for this for a long time. But only one item on her stood out: a very ordinary-looking watch on her wrist. I remembered super clearly this was actually the birthday gift I gave her back in 11th grade. I couldn't believe she had actually kept it all this time. Catching the obvious surprise and admiration in my eyes, Serena raised an eyebrow in pure satisfaction and asked, "Did Olivia run away so you finally remembered to call me? Or have you been thirsting over my beauty for a long time, waiting for this exact day?" I completely burst out laughing at that. "Serena, my stats aren't too bad either, right? Since you came today, you should really thank me for curing your allergic to men phobia." Serena was totally amused by my teasing. "What phobia? Wasn't that just some silly rumor you completely made up?" From childhood to adulthood, she always had super excellent social skills and top-tier academic performance. Wherever she went, she was the beautiful genius. Back in school, literally countless guys secretly crushed on her. But one time after she teased me, I deliberately spread a massive rumor everywhere that Serena had a severe phobia of guys. You see the irony, right? Because of that, she never had a serious relationship, not even holding a guy's hand. Serena frowned and sighed. "Do you have any idea exactly how many good catches I lost just because of that one sentence of yours?" I raised an eyebrow. "But hey, don't you have a husband now? You don't even have to go through the super annoying dating phases anymore." Serena placed a finger on her lips, chuckling so softly. "Sounds pretty good to me." Right then, the MC's urging voice loudly echoed, "To our two newlyweds, the grand ceremony is about to begin." I offered my right arm. Serena just naturally placed her hand on it. Her small hand gripped my arm tightly, causing the lingering uneasiness inside my heart to finally dissipate. Serena looked up at me and asked, "By suddenly swapping the bride like this, are your parents honestly going to be okay with it?" I calmly replied, "As long as I get married, I will receive the company shares from my grandpa. By marrying me today, you will also get a nice piece of that pie." and what's yours is mine. So by then, I will easily become the person with the biggest voice in the entire Ethan family household." Serena looked at me, her gaze stopping right at my confident smile. In a fleeting moment, I literally saw the silhouette of that young teenage girl from years ago, the fierce one who never admitted defeat. So what do you and I take from this? Honestly, thanks to Olivia running away, I finally snagged this absolute golden opportunity of a lifetime. Stick with me, we are diving into the craziest wedding twist ever. Seeing a completely different bride suddenly appear up there, both families' faces instantly dropped in pure, unadulterated shock. Grandma Winston looked absolutely furious. Meanwhile, Olivia's mom was completely stunned, desperately trying to call her runaway daughter, but only getting a totally annoying busy signal. She desperately dialed her assistant only to discover the crazy truth. Olivia never even planned on showing up today, and the reason for this epic betrayal was entirely because of Hugo. Mrs. Winston turned ghostly pale with rage. Right as the new couple prepared to actually exchange their rings, Grandma Winston furiously whispered to Mrs. Winston, "Have you managed to contact your precious daughter yet?" Mrs. Winston lowered her guilty head and mumbled, "She is not coming. She is apparently busy shooting some video." Mia, her younger sister, stood there completely dumbfounded before finally reacting. Did my sister seriously just elope today? This is unbelievable drama. After finally grasping this insane situation, Grandma Winston just stood completely frozen. Thanks to her proper upbringing, she desperately tried holding back a massive public explosion, but her intense eyes were swirling with so many complicated, messy emotions. In the end, she could only stare at Ethan with profound regret. She always treated him like her actual grandson, fully believing these two powerful families would finally unite today, but literally nobody expected this wild situation to completely crash and burn. Then Mia totally panicked, asking her grandma what they should do. Ethan was marrying a stranger, meaning he would not be her amazing brother-in-law anymore. Grandma Winston let out a heavy, depressed sigh. No matter what, today is Ethan's big wedding. Watch closely, you are going to love this part. Even with all the absolute madness happening, our main guy happily exchanged rings on stage. Ethan held Serena's delicate hand. She rarely looked at him with such gentle, caring eyes. Ethan. I have 0 parents and absolutely no annoying relatives around. Marrying me literally saves you from so many future headaches, but I really need to ask one last time. This marriage is absolutely no joke. Have you truly thought this over? My temper is terrible and I enjoy bullying you. You already know all of that. He looked right at Serena with genuine, absolute surprise, a sincere smile slowly forming. I truly mean it. Although randomly swapping the beautiful bride was super hard to actually swallow, the gathered guests were all incredibly sharp and highly intelligent elites. Nobody was foolish enough to loudly gossip here. Instead, they happily clapped to bless this wildly unexpected union. Once the crazy wedding wrapped up because of that chaotic drama, Ethan temporarily could not return home. Just as Ethan was fully ready to apologize to Serena, to his absolute shock, she boldly took the lead and brought him straight to her place. She secretly had not mentioned that someone was already ordered to clean and perfectly prep her house last night. Seriously, do not ask why. The awesome answer is she completely guessed that Olivia was never coming back. Her normally super empty house was literally transformed into an epic bridal suite entirely covered in romantic balloons and beautiful double happiness decorations. You and I are definitely thinking the exact same thing right now. When did she actually have the secret time to perfectly plan all of this? Serena happily snorted, rocking a super bright smile. This is my first time getting married. How could I possibly let things look too shabby? Ethan was genuinely taken aback. He originally assumed Serena was simply helping him cross a massive, awkward hurdle. He never expected her to take this fake marriage so seriously, honestly, way more seriously than he did. Thinking about this, he felt totally embarrassed. Besides sliding that beautiful ring onto her finger, he literally promised her nothing. He completely failed to prepare a proper dowry or an actual bridal suite. He awkwardly scratched his head, patted his suitcase, and asked, "Where am I sleeping tonight?" Serena stopped drinking her milk and smiled radiantly. "Hubby, if you do not mind sleeping together, is totally fine with me." He frowned slightly. These two had been aggressively bickering non-stop since middle school, and suddenly they were somehow living together as actual husband and wife. This situation felt incredibly bizarre. Noticing that brief hesitation in his eyes, Serena casually pointed toward the adjacent room. "Your room is over there. Just pick whatever I skipped guessing your style." Also, she playfully added in a really soft voice, "Do not bother decorating it much. Eventually, you will obediently crawl back into my room anyway. I already arranged my bedroom perfectly according to your exact taste." She spoke so softly that he entirely missed it. "What did you say?" Serena then smoothly and casually changed the whole subject. "When are we getting our official marriage certificate?" He thought for a second and confidently replied, "Tomorrow morning." Serena happily squinted and smiled, her bright eyes staring right at him. "I totally knew it. You definitely had your eyes on me forever, just eagerly waiting for this exact day to bring me home, right?" "Right?" He easily agreed. Then she continued asking, acting like a total psychic, "Olivia is absolutely returning tomorrow. Let us go on our honeymoon, shall we?" She totally wanted him gone before Olivia returned, just to make that runaway bride cry a river out of sheer absolute frustration. "Trust me, you will want to see who is calling next." Smiling wryly, I told her, "A romantic honeymoon needs to wait briefly. Just let me wrap up this massive work project I have right now, all right?" Worried Serena might get upset, I quickly added, "It will only take 2 weeks tops." Hearing my gentle voice instantly made her adorable face blush bright red. She nodded eagerly without a single ounce of hesitation. Next morning, we woke up extra early, rushed over to the registry office to officially seal our marriage, and then both headed off to our own companies. Come on, you and I know getting that certificate felt totally basic. Upon returning to work, I led a big meeting to lock down a project plan. Suddenly, my phone started buzzing loudly. It was my furious dad, Richard. Since he saw that crazy bride swap happen right before his own eyes yesterday, he was absolutely raging, his face turning a terrifying shade of thunder. "Even without Olivia there, you cannot just grab some random girl to marry instead. This whole thing is nothing but a ridiculous circus act." "Yeah. Plus, Olivia just went looking for your brother. Hugo is your biological sibling. Cannot you show a little more simple understanding here?" "Wait a second, Olivia, who..." I played completely dumb. My dad was absolutely furious but contained it. "Ethan, you think your wings are tough enough to fly solo now, huh? Daring to cause such a huge mess on your own. Have you officially registered this marriage with Serena yet? If not, bring her straight back to our family house this afternoon." Before I could answer, he just hung up. I chuckled. His tone sounded exactly like a strict judge passing sentence, but I truly did not care. Putting my phone down, I shifted focus back to work. It was not until my noon lunch break that I finally remembered everything and called Serena. Meanwhile, she had also just wrapped up a meeting. Her bestie Chloe cheerfully brought in 2 delicious portions of lunch, literally singing out loud while strolling into the office. "Now watch this closely." Chloe laughed. "Serena working on the first day after your big wedding. Aren't you scared your new hubby might get mad?" You see, Chloe noticed that ever since my family announced my wedding with Olivia, Serena basically spent every single day hiding in bars, completely drowning her sorrows until she crashed. Back then, Chloe constantly teased Serena for acting cowardly, liking someone so much, but lacking the guts to actually pursue him. But last night at the club, Serena suddenly received a surprising call from me. That loud, crazy atmosphere instantly dropped completely silent from just one single scary glare from Serena. After hanging up, she calmly stood up, patted her chest with total boss arrogance, and proudly declared, "This queen is off to get married." Then she just ditched them, leaving her friends staring in absolute jaw-dropping shock. Now Chloe playfully patted Serena's shoulder, teasing, "You finally managed to bag your handsome little husband. Are you not taking full advantage of this precious time to build up your romance? Aren't you terrified Olivia might suddenly return and snatch Ethan right back?" Unbothered, Serena casually played with her phone, deeply debating whether to dial my number. Hearing this, she smirked smugly. "My man is extremely sophisticated and understanding. A single girl like you simply wouldn't understand. Don't be jealous." That dealt Chloe massive emotional damage. She fired back angrily, "Forcing romance down my throat is fine, but personal attacks, seriously." Then she quickly delivered a heavy critical hit. "You rushed into that wedding yesterday, but did you even grab the official marriage certificate with him yet?" Serena frowned slightly, seemingly realizing those exact words made total sense. Chloe instantly seized the perfect chance to mock her. "Don't just walk around saying my hubby this, my hubby that. Watch out, if Olivia returns, your new man might just run away completely." Let that sink in for a second. Before Chloe finished speaking, her eyes widened, staring totally shocked at the red booklet in Serena's hand. She couldn't hold back a wild scream. "Holy crap, is this actually real?" She instantly lunged forward, her eyes sparkling. "Serena, let me look. I've genuinely never seen a real marriage certificate before." Serena practically gave her an epic side-eye, her cold gaze dripping with absolute disdain, basically saying, "Does a single girl like you even deserve to witness this magic?" Then she smoothly slid the precious booklet right into her desk drawer and coldly stated, "If you want to see one so badly, go get married yourself." After dropping that line, she literally commanded her assistant to bring a heavy padlock right in front of Chloe's shocked face, firmly locking that marriage certificate securely away. This exact way she never needed to worry about thieves. Afterward, Serena nodded with immense satisfaction. Storing it at work meant she could pull it out to admire it anytime she wanted. Chloe was rendered totally speechless. This was literally her first time seeing someone value a simple marriage certificate so intensely that they actually locked it up with a heavy padlock. "You are absolutely on another level," she asked curiously. "When did you get this?" Serena casually glanced over. "Just this morning. It is totally fresh and hot." Right at that moment, my phone call buzzed through. Chloe desperately wanted to make another sarcastic remark, but catching Serena's totally love-struck expression, she instantly knew she could not afford to mess with that wild energy and smartly backed off. Over the speaker, my voice asked, "Hey, are you free this afternoon? You and I just witnessed pure magic." Serena's eyes sparkled, answering him sweetly. "For you, I am literally always free. Let's dive right into this sweetness." Chloe practically had a toothache. I helplessly reminded my new wife Dad wanted to see her. Serena smirked like an absolute boss. "Piece of cake. No worries at all." I quickly added that I would come pick her up. "Remember to eat a massive lunch. The family dinner tonight definitely will not be an easy meal to swallow." Serena fired back with pure confidence, asking me to trust my wife. Hearing her tease me instantly lifted my heavy mood. Hanging up, Chloe leaned in close, completely dying of curiosity. She practically squealed, asking if that was her brand new hubby calling. Serena just nodded and ordered her assistant to prep some serious gifts this afternoon. "Time to visit the family mansion." Chloe clapped in pure hype. Serena was officially debuting as the new daughter-in-law. "Do not panic. Just use your fierce CEO aura." Serena simply raised an eyebrow and flashed a totally confident smile. "I do not need lessons on that." Meanwhile, the cheating ex Olivia finally woke up way past noon. Seeing my wedding video pop up along with that brutal breakup text I sent her, her mind absolutely went into complete meltdown. Now watch this twist. She never expected I would dump her. Then Hugo walked right in, grabbed her wrist, and coldly dropped the truth. "Why even go back? The guy already swapped out his entire bride." "Why not change your groom?" Olivia's eyes turned freezing cold. Gritting her teeth, she called last night a misunderstanding. "You are fine. I must go get married." Hugo fiercely asked if she loved him that much. "Enough to ignore my terrible accident." Olivia breathed heavily, her voice jumping up a few dramatic pitches. "You have friends and connections right here. Honestly, it was just a tiny fender bender. I never needed to rush over here personally, yet I still came ditching Ethan at the altar without even hesitating. What more do you want?" Seeing Olivia this furious, Hugo immediately backed down. He softened his tone and quickly apologized. "I am so sorry. I panicked. I was absolutely terrified of leaving this world without getting to see your face again. I like you too much." Olivia coldly shut him down. "We saw each other. I am going back. Just forget about last night completely. The whole thing was one big mistake." Grabbing her phone to call me, nothing connected. Having her assistant dial yielded literally the exact same dead end. Furious, Olivia finally realized I blocked them everywhere. She quickly dialed my best buddy Carter. Carter completely roasted her with sarcastic insults and hung up. Livid Olivia had zero choice but to head back by 4 p.m. I pulled up to Serena's office perfectly on time. As she got in, I warned her since Mom left us, Grandpa loves me the absolute most. If he acts a bit difficult today, please try to tolerate him. Shifting her stunning legs closer to me, Serena offered up a super gentle smile. She looked exactly like the perfect, obedient little wife. "Hubby, we are officially married now. That means your grandpa is my grandpa. I am not just tolerating him." Truly touched, I could not help sneaking a few quick glances down at her gorgeous legs. Completely exhausted from her heavy workload, Serena dozed off right after hopping into the car. I drove slower so she could sleep. I only woke her when pulling into my family's huge driveway. We arrived. You feel that tension too, right? Seeing Serena look slightly nervous, my lips curled up. Stepping out, I grabbed her hand and led the way. Feeling her sweaty palm, I softly reminded her we are legally married. Do not panic. Serena gulped hard, patting her chest where our marriage certificate photo rested. While the real document stayed locked in her office, she carried this digital photo absolutely everywhere. Her lips quietly whispered, "Legally married." Then she bravely followed me straight through the mansion doors. The living room was packed. My dad, Grandpa, and shockingly Olivia's grandmother, the elderly Mrs. Lincoln, were all waiting. Caught slightly off guard, I still stepped right up and greeted every single person there. Serena played it super polite, bowing to everyone. Instantly, all eyes locked onto our tightly intertwined hands. Their faces completely shifted. Letting go of Serena, I walked toward old Mrs. Lincoln, speaking with some heavy guilt. "Grandma Lincoln, I am honestly so sorry I did not warn you about yesterday's crazy drama beforehand." But the old woman's eyes just held deep sorrow and regret. Grabbing my hand, she spoke with absolute pure heartache. "Our family completely wronged you, Ethan. Do not apologize. We are the ones who messed up. I just want your happiness. I heard about yesterday. It was entirely Olivia's fault. I must apologize to you on her terrible behalf." And that is where we pause. The grandma took the blame. She sighed deeply, refusing to make excuses for Olivia. "Stick with me here." After seeing Mrs. Lincoln off, Serena and I followed Grandpa right into his study. Despite his age, he was super tough. Just standing there, he radiated absolute authority, easily intimidating everyone in the room without even raising his voice once. He carefully looked Serena over, then gave a calm nod. "You really resemble that old geezer Serena's grandpa. Her grandfather actually passed away when she was only in the 7th grade. Back in the day, my grandpa and hers bickered constantly, but honestly, they truly had deep mutual respect for one another. It was just a shame her grandpa left us too early. Otherwise, the person marrying me definitely would not have been Olivia at all." Grandpa continued, "I do not care about your family's past drama. Let old bygones be bygones. Now that you married Ethan, I hope you two live happily." Serena nodded obediently. "Do not worry about us, Grandpa. I absolutely will." I totally never expected she had already signed a document leaving all her assets to me. Hearing this, I totally froze up. Grandpa waved his hand dismissively. "No need for that." Serena just gazed right at me, her eyes radiating pure love. "Grandpa Ethan is the person I love the most. I will do absolutely everything to treat him well." Grandpa nodded, asked a bit about my work, and when he took a phone call, we held hands and walked right downstairs together. The next morning, Serena went to the washroom. I sat down on the living room sofa, facing my dad, watching the news. I called out to him. "Now pay attention, here is where it gets crazy." He asked if I knew Hugo had a car accident. I nodded completely blankly. "I know." My dad seemed to also understand the cause of the incident. He hesitated for a few seconds before saying, "The accident this time was quite serious. Olivia is literally his sister-in-law. It is only right for her to visit him. Do not take it hard." "But Ethan, are you and Serena actually serious?" I calmly replied, "I know you give most of your affection to Hugo. I am not angry. I just feel it is meaningless." My dad was silent for a second, then asked, "In your heart, is marriage not a joke?" My meaning was crystal clear. I am serious. He seemed to think of his own marriage, carefully observing my icy expression, trying to find some excuse. "Ethan, your mother and I completely cut him off, my tone perfectly. Calm, my eyes showing absolutely zero emotion. "Since Mom passed, I have figured it out, Dad. The massive mistakes you made should not have been carried by a woman. My mother passing away had a massive connection to you, Dad. Right now, you are my father, but no longer the father I respect the most. The exact moment you chose to betray my mother and me, you lost that right." My dad felt completely powerless just standing there before me. In the end, he didn't say another word. Thankfully, not long after the auntie announced that dinner was ready. After dinner, by the time we finally left the house, it was already completely dark outside. I looked at Serena sitting quietly in the car and had to ask, "You look super happy. Is it just because Grandpa did not scold you today?" Serena was someone with zero scandals, but her way of doing things absolutely never followed the normal rules. It would be totally understandable if Grandpa disliked her. Serena's eyes sparkled with pure amusement, the corner of her lips twitching up slightly. "I will only tell this to my dear hubby." I chuckled lightly. "Aren't I your legal husband?" Serena casually replied. "You are still missing one kiss." I felt slightly helpless, raising an eyebrow. "Serena, I am driving. If you keep looking at me like that, I will not be able to concentrate." Serena blushed deeply and whispered, "Then let's make up for this kiss when we get home, okay?" But before she could even finish, I suddenly slammed hard on the brakes. "Watch closely now, this is wild." A figure stood right in the headlights. Frowning tightly, I quickly turned to look at Serena. She just tilted her head perfectly calm. "If you want to go, then go." I gently pinched her cheek and softly said, "I will make things clear with her and be right back. Okay, okay." Serena just let out a light hum in response. Taking a breath, I opened the car door and stepped out. Olivia hurriedly walked right over, grabbing my arm tightly, her eyes red as she desperately asked me, "Ethan, I have not agreed to break up yet." The chilly autumn wind blew past us. I looked at her quietly without even an ounce of anger. After just 2 days apart, the always beautiful Olivia actually looked incredibly haggard and totally exhausted. She sighed heavily. "Ethan, do not use an innocent person just to make me mad." I frowned forcefully, shaking off her grip. "Olivia, I am not the type of guy to keep my options open. The second you decided to go find Hugo, we were already entirely done. You could have just told me and I would have immediately canceled the wedding, but you chose not to. You threw my pride and my family's dignity to the ground, trampling it without hesitation." Olivia froze, then hurriedly explained, "Hugo is literally your brother. He got into a car accident." I laughed out of sheer anger. "Olivia, do not forget that Hugo already has friends and relatives over there. So what do you and I make of this?" I told her straight up, "Are you a doctor? In what capacity did you go? Stick with me, we are about to watch an epic showdown." Seeing Olivia looking super awkward and flustered felt pretty vindicating. "You already know exactly how Hugo ended up becoming my stepbrother anyway. I do not hate him, but I absolutely cannot accept the guy who caused my mom to pass away." Olivia stammered. "He did not do that." I paused for a quick second and burst out laughing, but my smile was completely freezing. "So that is what you have always believed. You and my dad are completely identical, not on the same path as me. We were just never meant to walk the same exact road. I still believe my mother passing away connects to them. If you chose me, you really should have respected me, not stayed endlessly tangled up with him during such an important moment. Honestly, Olivia, it is not like I cannot survive without you. Now watch closely." That sentence about living without her hits Olivia like an absolute truck, leaving her completely dizzy. It literally felt like a massive gap had been ripped wide open in her chest. The freezing wind rushed right in, chilling her to the bone. Her lips shook. "Ethan, you totally misunderstood. This was my fault. I never should have left without telling you. Come with me right now. Let us go back and have our wedding." I just stared at her with icy eyes piercing straight through her soul. "No, Olivia, you will never truly understand how deeply you hurt me. I can handle you and Hugo hanging out, but I definitely cannot accept you preparing to marry me while flat out refusing to let go of him at the same time. How can one heart hold two guys?" "It is truly disgusting," Serena called out from right behind us. "You were actually the one who let go first, Olivia. So you just have to accept the truth that he does not want to wait anymore." She quickly walked over, casually linking her arm right through mine, and glared at Olivia with total provocation. Olivia frowned, her eyes going completely dark. "Serena, you took advantage of a terrible situation to wedge yourself right in and you dare lecture me?" Serena just sneered, her eyes suddenly turning freezing cold. "Speaking of taking advantage of a bad situation, did you not personally create this perfect condition for me? Technically, I really should be thanking you." Serena stared back with absolute defiance. The tense atmosphere gave me a massive headache. I gripped Serena tightly, interlocking our fingers, and lowered my head to whisper softly, "Let us go home early today. I am feeling pretty sleepy." Serena tilted her head to look at Olivia, flashing a totally mocking smile. Then she opened the car door and happily ushered me into the passenger seat. Serena kept the posture of an absolute winner, holding her head high while walking past Olivia. Olivia absolutely panicked. She lunged at the passenger window, frowning deeply as she whispered, "Ethan, have you actually thought this through? If you leave with her right now, we are truly finished forever." I calmly rolled up the window and just drove away. You feel that too, right? Just because of one single mistake, she lost the guy she loved the absolute most. Watching that car disappear into the distance, she helplessly slumped down onto the curb, feeling like her heart had been totally hollowed out. On the drive back, Serena and I had a mutual understanding to never mention Olivia again. I had been living alone for quite a while. Whenever times got tough, I learned how to cook for myself. Later on, I realized the whole cooking process was super relaxing, so it naturally became a habit. The next morning, when Serena finally woke up, I had already finished my daily jog and prepared breakfast. Seeing a giant table full of food, Serena, who never really had the habit of eating breakfast, sat down and happily enjoyed the meal with me. The next 2 times she woke up extremely late, seeing an empty dining table. She assumed I stopped making breakfast for her. She felt a bit disappointed. But surprisingly, when she got inside the car, I handed her a cute little thermos box. Serena stared at it with her big, beautiful, questioning eyes. "What exactly is this?" I just calmly explained. "Breakfast." The corners of Serena's lips curled up into a faint but incredibly sweet little smile. "Did my hubby make this for me?" she asked with a lazy yet completely confident smirk. I purposely decided to tease her. "It is just leftovers from my breakfast this morning." Serena totally choked on her words, looking slightly exasperated but holding that lunchbox in her hands. Her mood still soared. When she entered the elevator and saw her assistant Lily casually eating a steamed bun, Serena raised an eyebrow. Lily proudly held up her fried bun and asked, "CEO, Serena, have you had any breakfast yet?" Serena chuckled lightly, holding up her adorable Doraemon thermos box. "No need. My husband already made a loving breakfast just for me." Hearing this, Lily immediately started kissing up. "Wow, CEO, Serena is truly so mighty. Married for just a few short days and you already got boss Ethan catering to your every single need." Serena happily finished her breakfast and then went into the office with me. Seeing her unpack that delicious food, Lily expressed pure admiration, suddenly feeling like the cheap bun she just swallowed was absolute garbage. She quickly snapped a picture and sent it straight to Chloe. "So, where do we go from here?" Less than a minute later, Chloe calls, begging. "Sister Serena, can I taste my brother-in-law's cooking? Stick with me." Serena cracked up. "Want to eat? Find your own husband?" Chloe stared blankly. "So what if you are married? Just days ago you were totally single like me." Serena smiled. "Having a husband is actually incredible. When the 2 of us got back from the main family estate, Grandpa handed me 15% of the shares, 10 to Serena and 5 to Hugo. Over the last couple of days, I sorted out the transfer paperwork and gave Serena her cut. But she flat out refused it, handing the whole thing right back. Honestly, I was pretty shocked. Why reject what Grandpa gave you?" Serena casually leaned back on the couch, striking a relaxed pose, and smiled. "I am your wife. Did you not say it yourself? What is mine is yours. Hey, look at this right here. I am giving it all to you." I awkwardly explained I was only joking that day. Serena dropped her smile. "I am serious. Now that we are married, I am never considering divorce, let alone dividing shares. Honestly, if I handed my entire company over to you, I would have 0 objections." I smiled bitterly and looked right at her. "Serena, have you ever regretted choosing me? I am a boring guy, terrible at romance." Serena chuckled softly. "That is fine, I understand." Not only do I understand, I can teach you. I stayed silent, still pushing the shares back to her. Leaving work, I was just about to hop into my car when I bumped into Hugo waiting for me right in the parking lot. "Pay attention here." He sat in a wheelchair, pale but forcing a fake smile. I frowned, observing him for a few seconds. Wait, did he not have a car crash? Should he not be hospitalized? Why return now? Hugo smiled faintly. "I heard you and Olivia split up. I was worried you might misunderstand the situation, so I purposely came back to explain it to you." Wow, using the words split up was insanely clever. It totally framed me as the unreasonable bad guy here. I laughed, leaning against the car door, and casually said, "I give you 5 minutes." Hugo completely froze. He said that casually, never expecting me to actually listen. Back then, Olivia and I had an awkward phase followed by a fight, and then she confessed all her feelings to you. Basically, she just used you as a rebound. I am sorry, I should never have gotten tangled up with her, but this car crash happened so suddenly. I totally panicked, could not find anyone else to help. I am so sorry, I had no idea she was about to marry you. I quietly watched him perform this pathetic act, then fired back. You say Olivia saw me as a rebound, did she know? Hearing that, Hugo froze up and quickly changed the subject. I never expected things to end this way. Can you forgive Olivia? She is incredibly sad. It honestly breaks my heart. No. I frowned, tone freezing cold. Hugo, we are nowhere near close enough for this chat. I do not care about your messy drama with Olivia. You want me to forgive her? What right do you have to beg? The right of being the other woman's son? Hugo's face turned completely ghost pale. He never expected me to be that honest. Lowering his head, he gritted his teeth. I cannot calm your rage. I will do whatever you want. I lowered my eyes, voice chilling. Even disappear forever. Suddenly, Olivia's voice echoed from behind. Ethan, I instantly got a headache, rubbing my temples. You and I both know this trick. I looked up and caught Hugo's faint smirk. He still plays these toxic mind games. Olivia sprinted right over. She shot Hugo an annoyed glare, refusing to make direct eye contact, and turned to me instead. Her gaze burned, but her voice sounded super cautious. "Ethan, can I buy you a meal?" That night, she returned home. Both her grandmother and mother gave her the scolding of a lifetime. That is exactly when she realized how insanely serious this problem was. I let out a harsh, mocking laugh, spun right around, opened the car door, and slammed it totally shut. One fluid motion, 0 glances given from start to finish. Olivia tried chasing after me, but Hugo instantly stopped her. "Ethan has made up his mind to never look back. Just give up." Olivia refused to turn. Staying silent for a moment, she finally snapped. "You crashed. I visited not because I still have feelings, but to end this absolute mess with you once and for all. But I never expected you to play dirty and slip sleeping pills into my drink." Hugo totally panicked, rushing to explain. "I swear I did not know you guys were marrying." Olivia coldly turned her head, sneering back. "You did not know I had my assistant pass Ethan the message. Why did you purposely intercept it?" Hugo stood there, totally speechless, fake pain crossing his face. Olivia gritted her teeth. "Ethan was right. My hesitation gave you the perfect chance to wedge yourself in. You claimed Ethan always bullied you, but is that even remotely close to the truth? What do you and I learn here? Skip the family drama, never scheme against Ethan. He is your older brother and he should have been my husband." Olivia shakes her head, pure regret and total helplessness flashing in her sad eyes. "Now that we have hit rock bottom, are you finally satisfied? Stick with me here, this story gets wild." Hugo grips his wheelchair, staring silently up at the sky. Meanwhile, 4 days post-wedding, Serena preps for a business trip. I helped pack her bags. Even though we were sleeping in completely separate bedrooms, the overall setup and vibe in both rooms really was not much different. Since we practically grew up together as best friends, suddenly being married still felt super awkward. But after living together long enough, I figured we would eventually start sharing a bed anyway. When I knocked on her door, Serena happened to be taking a shower. She opened it wearing nothing but a simple bath towel. My eyes twitched, unable to stop myself from glancing down. Serena just leaned against the doorframe, flashing a very faint, playful smile. "What is up?" My face flushed hot, and I blurted, "I am hungry." Serena followed my gaze, dropping her voice low to ask, "Are you sure it is that kind of hungry? I wanted the floor to just swallow me whole." I spun around in total panic, muttering, "I only came to ask if you were hungry." Serena purposely teased me. "The second you walked over, I suddenly got super hungry." I shot her an annoyed glare. "Be serious. What do you actually want to eat?" Serena stood up totally straight, flashing a deeply hidden smile. "Can I just eat you instead?" I was completely speechless. My face turned bright red as I quickly spun around and stormed off. "Eat my foot." Right behind me, Serena's clear, bright laughter rang out. Every note of that laugh hit my heart, making my cheeks burn even hotter. I quickly sprinted straight into the kitchen. By the time Serena finished packing up and walked right into the kitchen, I had just served a fresh bowl of tomato egg noodles. Rich golden eggs covered the bed of thick white noodles, perfectly sprinkled with fresh green onions. Serena instantly felt her entire appetite surging. She grabbed her chopsticks and happily started eating right away. "Now watch this connection." She remembered running away back in 10th grade. I took her in, and the first meal I cooked for her, this exact same bowl of tomato egg noodle soup. For years, she had visited countless different noodle shops, but absolutely nowhere could ever replicate that comforting flavor I made. Serena gripped those chopsticks super tightly, quickly devouring the entire delicious bowl of hot noodles. Right at midnight, Serena finally left for her business trip. The next morning, when I woke up, I spotted a cute little sticky note sitting down on the dining table. Her handwriting was as elegant as in high school. It read, "I am going on a business trip for 1 week. Do not miss me too much. If you really miss me, call me. 24/7, always ready to chat and eat with you." After a quick breakfast, I packed up and headed straight to the company. Later after work, my best friend Carter called, asking me out for a good meal. Arriving at the reserved restaurant, I just sat down across from him. Seeing Carter looking super gloomy and frowning hard, I joked, "You invited me, but you look totally miserable." Carter hesitated for a second, then slid a photo across. He carefully warned Ethan, "Take a look at this, but please do not get mad." I glanced down. "You and I both know this means trouble." It was a picture of Olivia and Hugo looking very intimate, with Olivia helping him into his wheelchair. Hugo used to be a fairly famous singer in the music industry, holding on to a solid, dedicated fan base. The second this photo leaked, the media went wild. instantly speculating that these two had finally broken all barriers and were planning to go fully public with their romance. I smiled, handing the photo back, my tone remaining completely unfazed. Why would I be mad? I am married. Carter smiled in deep satisfaction and asked Ethan, how exactly is Serena treating you? Back in high school, you two were basically like fire and water, but honestly, Serena is actually a genuinely wonderful person. If that sudden incident never happened, there would absolutely not be any room for Olivia. Mentioning Olivia made Carter visibly angry. I laughed. All right, do not be mad anymore. Let us eat first. After finishing our meal, I looked over at Carter, who was suddenly staring off into the distance. Following his sharp gaze, I spotted a very familiar car parked curbside. Hugo sat in his wheelchair, seemingly talking to someone hidden inside the parked car. Carter frowned, unable to hide his total disgust. Is Hugo not supposed to be in the hospital? Why is he wheeling around everywhere? Do not tell me he is faking it. Seeing Carter roll up his sleeves, totally ready to rush over and pick a fight, I quickly pulled him right back. Let us go. Whether he is faking it or not has nothing to do with us. That single sentence held a deep hidden meaning. Under the dim streetlights, even from 7 or 8 meters away, it was incredibly easy to clearly see exactly who was inside that car. Carter sneered coldly. Yeah, looks like quite a few people really care about him. Carter's voice was just a bit loud, and here is where we leave it. The person inside heard him immediately looking our way. Olivia's smile completely froze. Panicking, she threw the door open, sprinting straight towards me. Ethan, Olivia desperately called out to me. Let's dive into this wild mess. I completely ignored her, but she desperately sprinted through traffic, gasping for air until she blocked my path. Ethan! Carter looked at me totally worried. I gave him a reassuring smile. Ethan, please just let me explain. Olivia locked her burning gaze right on me, but I looked straight through her, calmly staring down Hugo across the street. His eyes were absolutely boiling with deep, bitter resentment. I chuckled softly. No need. My icy attitude totally shocked her. Back when we were dating, even though I was never super enthusiastic, I was never this freezing cold. A massive abyss now stood between us. She opened her mouth to speak, but right at that exact moment, my phone suddenly buzzed. A voice message from Serena. I meant to hit the text option, but my hand totally slipped and I accidentally blasted it out loud on speaker. I landed 17 hours ago and you haven't sent a single text asking how I am. Use me and toss me aside, huh? Her teasing voice echoed loudly in my ear, instantly making my entire face burn bright red. Why was she saying such easily misunderstood things? I heard Carter snickering behind me, and I felt absolutely incredibly embarrassed. I swore right then I would absolutely never play Serena's voice messages in front of anyone else again. This woman seriously had zero filter. We did not do anything last night. I only cooked her some noodles, but I know what you are thinking. Her spicy tone made our night sound like a premium show only VIP members could watch. I desperately tried keeping my cool and explained, I only cooked you noodles last night. Stop talking nonsense. Aren't you on a business trip? Serena let out a deep and was totally about to continue when Olivia suddenly called out my name from behind. Ethan. Serena's eyes totally flashed. You are still out this late? I quickly glanced over at Carter. I just finished eating dinner with Carter. Serena chuckled softly. Guess Olivia is losing her touch, huh? Cannot even keep her husband inside at this late hour. I grumbled internally. How do you know if she is losing her touch or not? Almost like she was reading my mind. Serena lowered her voice. I do not know how he performs, but regarding my performance, you will just have to try it out yourself. My face turned bright beet red. I stood completely tongue-tied, clueless on what to say. Clearly sensing my embarrassment, Serena chuckled. All right, I will stop teasing you. I have a meeting now. Go home early. Yeah, I softly replied. She hung up. By this time, Olivia had run up right in front of me, her eyes completely filled with pure agony. Ethan, do you honestly like her now? Then what were our 2 years together? I stood stunned completely, not expecting her to play the pathetic victim card right in front of me. I frowned, staring straight at her, my voice turning strict. When you chose to abandon and humiliate me, did you ever consider what those 2 years meant? Olivia's face went totally pale. Her voice dropped, looking completely defeated. Ethan, I am so sorry. I really did not know things would turn out like this. I pocketed my phone, glancing over at Hugo, whose lips were tightly pursed. The corners of my mouth curled up into a very meaningful, cold smirk. Let us be real. You never loved me, or you wouldn't have hesitated between me and Hugo. My face showed zero emotion. My voice was soft, but it heavily carried a sense of absolute crushing finality. Honestly, when Grandpa suggested an arranged marriage with you, I did not refuse. Back then, I thought you were fine, but looking at it now, you cannot even compare to a single strand of Serena's hair. Please just stay a bit further away from me. Looking at you honestly makes me sick. Olivia pressed her lips tightly together, staying completely silent. Inside her heart, it felt like a knife was carving a massive wound, pain constantly pouring out, leaving behind a truly agonizing dark emptiness. Ethan, is there really zero possibility for us anymore? Not even one single chance. Her voice sank, not even daring to raise her head, let alone look at the cold emotion in my eyes. She feared that just one look would plunge her into an absolute abyss of despair. The proud Olivia, who never showed weakness to any man, was now reduced to this pathetic state. I sneered faintly, a quick flash of mockery passing through my eyes. Right now, Olivia just looked incredibly pathetic. The exact moment you took Hugo's call and decided to leave, we were over. I have a wife now. I refuse to let her misunderstand, so keep your distance. Just then, a dramatic voice full of utter helplessness rang out loudly. It was Hugo. Perhaps fearing Olivia would run away with me, he panicked and pushed his wheelchair forward, but unexpectedly hit a rock, causing his wheelchair to totally flip over in the middle of the street. Olivia quickly glanced at me. Did you catch that pity in her eyes? I definitely did, laughing coldly while Carter smirked, giving Olivia this incredibly meaningful judging stare. Miss Olivia, your good little brother fell down. Are you not going to help him up? There are many cars tonight, an accident could easily happen here. Olivia pulled her gaze back and turned toward me. I have already completely cut ties with him. I indifferently replied, oh. Then I turned around and walked away with Carter. Let's dive into this drama. Olivia tried to chase me, but Hugo's miserable screams from behind completely froze her. Furious and totally stuck, she could only blink as I walked right away. After I said a quick goodbye to Carter, I finally headed straight back home. Fresh from the shower, I checked my phone. It was already 11 p.m. Serena had to be done with her work by now. Remembering the complaining voice message she sent earlier, the corners of my mouth just could not help but curl right up. Back in school, Serena always loved bumping heads with me. Even after tying the knot, she was exactly the same. Old habits fade slowly. But hey, we were husband and wife now, the two people spending the rest of our lives together. I figured I should at least politely check on her. I texted back at the hotel, yet meanwhile Serena, right in the middle of a meeting, glanced down at her brightly lit up phone screen. Spotting my familiar profile picture, her heart totally skipped a beat. She quickly typed back, "Not done yet." I sent a sighing face and added, "Your husband is already incredibly rich. What are you still working so hard for?" Seeing my teasing message, Serena was pretty surprised. Why was her hubby suddenly acting so sweet? Smiling slightly, I typed back, "I am just afraid you will totally exhaust yourself, and I will not get to inherit all of those sweet assets." And just like that, we playfully bickered back and forth for a few more sentences before finally stopping. You know that feeling, right? Serena's laughter echoed in my ears. She was annoying, but her playful teasing actually made my gloomy mood from seeing Olivia completely improve. After a few crazy busy days at the company, I got a random call from my dad. "Come home for dinner tonight." His harsh tone sounded exactly like a boss giving an order to his employee without a single shred of warmth. I sighed silently, totally used to it by now. We were clearly both his biological sons, but his attitude toward us was just worlds apart. He always felt that Hugo suffered so many unfair hardships out in the world, so he wanted to compensate him double for everything. But seriously, did anyone ever compensate me losing my mother so young? Even my only living father treated me like absolute ice. If it were not for our family ties, I probably would not even call him Dad. I dragged my heavy feet to the car and drove home. No matter how many little excuses I tried finding to delay things, I still had to return. Otherwise, there would just be endless amounts of nagging and loud complaining. As soon as I reached the door, I heard my dad's surprisingly gentle voice. I did not even need to guess who he was talking to. "Dad, I am planning to hold a concert in 3 months." Hugo's voice rang out. My dad just frowned. "Your leg is not even healed. What concert? The entertainment industry is way too exhausting. Your older brother is managing the company very well. Once your leg heals up, follow him to the company and work." "Dad? Oh, Dad." Watch closely here, the tension spikes. My dad and Hugo spun around. Seeing me enter, awkwardness flashed across his face, but he quickly returned to a calm expression. "Ethan, you are his older brother. Helping Hugo out right now is the correct thing. I showed absolutely zero emotion, calmly stating, "His major does not match. He is not suitable to join the company." My dad immediately looked very displeased and argued back. "Hugo is your younger brother. The entertainment industry is completely muddy water. With his personality, he is not suited to struggle there." I smiled faintly, looking right at my dad. When I first took over the company, those old foxes wanted to swallow me whole, but I survived it. He is a full-grown adult now. He needs to take full responsibility for his own decisions. My words were honestly a bit harsh, causing Hugo to completely lose face. He looked up hastily, explaining, "Please do not be mad, brother. Dad is just worried about me. I am really not interested in the company. Being a singer is enough." I just burst out laughing loud. "I am certainly not your brother. You went to study abroad for a whole year with absolutely zero achievements. Just coming back into the country, you had to rely on a cheap scandal for attention. Hugo, is this the glorious result of studying abroad?" Hearing this, Hugo's expression shifted slightly. My dad's face immediately darkened as he loudly reprimanded me. "Ethan, how can you speak to your brother like that? He is recovering." I stepped onto the stairs, calmly replying, "Since he is a patient, he should obediently stay in the hospital. I never begged him to come back home. Out of pure respect for Grandpa, the fact I have not taken action against him yet is a huge blessing." After dropping that, I totally ignored my screaming dad and walked straight up the stairs to find Grandpa. During dinner, my stubborn dad once again brought up wanting to put Hugo in the company. He just wanted to test Grandpa's reaction. After all, my dad was Grandpa's son, but he completely lacked any solid footing inside the company. A few years ago, because of that crazy drama when Hugo and his mother showed up, he and Grandpa had a truly massive falling out. Grandpa, totally expressionless, looked at Hugo and asked Hugo, "What do you think?" Hugo held his chopsticks, his fingers subconsciously tightening up. "You see where this is going, right?" He forced a smile, claiming, "Dad is worried I will get bullied, but Sister Olivia will protect me. Singing will not be any problem. Stick with me here. You and I are about to watch why leaving his huge fan base simply was not an option today." Grandpa just gave a completely casual hum, hiding his true thoughts. Since he refused to agree, Grandpa totally shut the conversation down completely, destroying my dad's backup plan. My dad's face instantly turned super grim and frustrated. Right after dinner, he pulled me aside and we stepped out into the quiet courtyard. My dad did not waste time getting straight to business. He claimed Grandpa was always playing favorites by handing me more company shares, which was pretty obvious to everyone. He argued that Hugo would seriously struggle without our family backing him up, especially since I basically controlled most of the shares now. He demanded I share with Hugo. It was a strict command, not a simple request. I completely expected this. I was totally prepared for this exact conversation. Staring right back at him with perfect calm, I made every single word count. I owed Hugo absolutely nothing. This wealth was mine. Why should I split it? My dad claimed Hugo only had him left. My dad was really trying to play the ultimate emotional card. I froze up, then let out a super chilling laugh. I lacked a mother too. Did he forget how my mother passed away? I will never forgive him. My dad sighed, sounding totally bland. He brushed it off, calling their past an arranged marriage. He simply refused to discuss the complicated romantic drama of the older generation. I shot back coldly, noting he made his choice and I had my own way of handling things. My dad glared right at me, sounding super annoyed. He demanded to know why I despised my own brother so intensely. Watch closely here because his reaction is absolutely priceless. He just chuckled softly, casually, leaning against the street lamp with a highly confident, mocking smile lighting his eyes. I pointed out his own wealth. If he truly loved Hugo, he should just hand over his own company shares. I had zero objections to that. Hearing my comeback, my dad's voice grew incredibly stern. He snapped, asking if I was completely ignoring him. I coldly replied that I wanted to save our final shred of family dignity. I warned my dad to seriously consider the massive consequences if he pushed. My words hit like a heavy threat. Oh, he definitely heard that threat. His eyes went totally icy as he strictly reminded me he was speaking as my father right now. He threatened that if I refused today, he would stop playing nice in front of the board members at the company tomorrow morning. The message was crystal clear. Hand the shares over tonight or he would aggressively force my hand in public the very next day. Bright and early the next day, Assistant Luke rushed over handing me the highly important documents for our upcoming meeting. He hesitated, pure panic totally filling his eyes. Scanning the files quickly, I stared right into his nervous face and asked what else happened. Assistant Luke replied super anxiously, He anxiously warned me that Director Richard and several other executives were secretly meeting this morning, strongly looking like they were plotting something regarding my role as chief executive. I just raised an eyebrow, letting out a super icy sneer. Slapping the folder closed, I stood up quickly. Bring on the drama. We both knew he was ready, right? He casually strolled straight into that room, and suddenly those greedy old executives went completely, utterly, totally silent. The room's tension instantly plummeted to zero. I simply ordered the routine work report. Once it wrapped up, I calmly asked for opinions. Naturally, my very own dad was the first to speak. He sharply questioned why I, as the chief executive, suddenly handed the massive Chengdu land project straight to Serena, especially when we previously planned to partner up with Hai Lam. Honestly, my close relationship with Serena was a well-known fact to everyone present here. Smiling coldly at my own father, I pointed out that Hai Lam recently got totally tangled up in some major corporate scandals that ruined their reputation. Trusting them with a massive project like Chengdu was totally inappropriate, and giving it to Tanha was equally unsuitable. However, Serena's company offered an amazing 8% commission. That single powerful sentence completely shut down everyone in the room. Furthermore, her company won this massive partnership totally fair and square through open bidding. I swept my icy gaze across the entire room, leaving absolutely zero room for objections. With no other complaints, I quickly adjourned the daily meeting. With that perfectly handled, I decisively turned to leave. But suddenly, my dad stood up. He fully understood the intense backlash he would face, but keeping Hugo perfectly happy was his only priority today. Staring intensely right at my back, his eyes grew super dark. He coldly announced our chief executive was far too young, acting recklessly, and desperately needed much more professional training. He declared that several board members had unanimously agreed I must hand over my shares immediately, just to establish a proper balance of power within the company. My own index finger, resting firmly down by my side, completely clenched up while the corners of my eyes stung. We were both his kids, yet he publicly forced me to surrender my shares entirely for Hugo's sake. Honestly, based on what logic? Should all my exhausting effort just be divided up and handed to someone else? Trust me, you and I will never forget this. He turned around, his eyes flashing with completely pure emptiness. Let's dive right into this wild family showdown. Ethan frowned, asking coldly. The older man clearly wasn't expecting such insane pushback, feeling completely caught off guard. But then his thoughts drifted back to poor Hugo stuck in that wheelchair, and instantly his extreme bias shifted right back to the other son. CEO Ethan is way too young. Making super hasty choices could totally ruin the entire company. Sure, I get where you're coming from. Young leaders are naturally just passionate and wildly impulsive. But don't forget, we have absolutely dumped our entire massive fortunes and very livelihoods into your hands. One single tiny mistake from you and years of hard work just go down the drain. Ethan fought hard to lock down his blazing anger, firing back ice cold. We are basically on the exact same ship here. As long as I'm winning and eating well, you guys will definitely get your huge cut. Does Director Richard want my shares because my style bothers him, or does he actually just prefer Hugo's ridiculously weak and spineless way of doing things? Hearing those exact words, his dad's expression totally soured. Ethan chuckled coldly, adding, Director Richard, you are way too arrogant, forcing an absolute rookie with zero skills into our massive company. Now that would be a catastrophic mistake. Still, his father was insanely determined to bring Hugo in, so Ethan was completely ready to use that exact weakness to make his dad absolutely regret it. Realizing he couldn't force a surrender, his dad fiercely gritted his teeth and trailed right behind him. Speaking super softly, he muttered, Ethan, Hugo is actually your own brother. Giving him a tiny bit of help is only fair. Ethan didn't even slow his pace, snapping back. My mother only had me. Now pay attention here. He thought he made his absolute boundaries incredibly clear during visits. Seriously, who could ever imagine that the father he deeply respected would go to such insane lengths just for the other woman's pathetic son? Claiming he wasn't completely heartbroken by things going this far would be a huge lie. His dad stubbornly followed him straight into his office. Seeing Ethan casually turn on his computer to start working, the older man grew furious. He violently lunged forward and slammed the computer shut, screaming at the top of his lungs, He is your brother, and he is my son too. Ethan finally looked up with teary eyes, making his dad totally freeze. With red eyes, Ethan practically whispered, Then what about me? Targeting the tiny shred of guilt in the man's heart, he added, I am also your real son. I was not some random stray you found outside anywhere. His dad went totally silent, a quick flash of pure awkwardness crossing his eyes, hiding intense inner guilt. Slumping heavily onto the couch, he lowered his head quietly, saying, "Ethan, I really wronged Hugo's mother." Catching those words, Ethan seriously felt like he just heard the most hilariously messed up joke ever. Director Richard, what on earth are you saying right now? Are you pretending you didn't wrong my own mother? His rage erupted. Completely furious, he snatched a heavy cup and violently smashed it near his dad's shoes. Ice-cold water splashed everywhere, instantly soaking him. Waiting outside, Assistant Luke realized things were going totally south. Heart racing fast, he immediately dialed Serena's super-sharp assistant, Lily. They only really communicated like this because of their powerful respective bosses. Keeping up daily was completely necessary, like checking Ethan's meals, his overall mood, and guest lists. All these vital details were instantly sent to Lily, who faithfully reported everything to Serena. Honestly, Ethan treated Luke amazingly well, so he happily played the role of loyal spy. You and I know this wasn't the first time his dad got humiliated. The old man abruptly stood tall, his cloudy gaze turning crazy sharp. He glared at Ethan, sounding fiercely decided. You absolutely must hand over these shares, willing or not. This is quite literally the only legacy I have left for Hugo. Ethan, whatever debt I owe you, I promise I'll somehow pay it back. Dropping that massive bombshell, his dad practically ran away like a terrifying beast was chasing him. Ethan totally collapsed back into his large chair, feeling his entire energy completely disappear. Closing his tired eyes, painful tears just began flowing uncontrollably down his cheeks. This is the final time, he promised himself silently. The absolute last time I ever forgive him. Only when his dark mood finally settled down did Luke brave, bringing in a fresh steaming coffee, quickly taking the scary chance to mop up the messy office. Meanwhile, Lily strolled in carrying a fancy lunch. Immediately, she spotted Chloe dragging Serena around, excitedly rambling about their massive dinner plans. Lily offered a gentle cough. Sister Serena slowly turned, raising a curious eyebrow at her. Pausing for a split second, Lily seriously confessed, something huge just happened with Boss Ethan. Before Serena could even process it, Chloe completely flared up. What, who dares attack my brother-in-law? Serena shot her a frosty glare, quickly covering Chloe's loud mouth, and waved for Lily to spill. Lily didn't hesitate. So here's the crazy rundown. Last night, Boss Ethan visited his dramatic family estate, and things absolutely did not end well. Today, Director Richard shockingly rallied some greedy shareholders to forcefully split Ethan's hard-earned shares. His own father basically sparked a massively explosive shouting match over it. Hearing this crazy update, Serena's expression immediately darkened, eyes showing serious, absolute fury. She frowned, then coldly ordered the first flight. Lily hesitated for 2 seconds. But you have an important meeting tomorrow. So what do you and I think she'll do next? Let's dive right into this drama. Serena's voice was absolute. Forget it. Book a return flight for tomorrow. And just like that, she hurried off. Little did I know right then, Serena was already racing straight back to me. Honestly, I wanted to hide all this annoying family drama from her, but my dad just would not let up. He kept me running around all day until my head spun. I missed dinner entirely. Completely drained, I dragged myself to the parking lot and just sat there. Seeing that empty space, my heart felt exactly the same. Look, if my grandpa was not still around, I would never step foot inside that toxic family estate ever again. Yet my own flesh and blood pushed me to the absolute edge. All for Hugo, he just kept backing me into a corner. Doesn't that just prove he was completely unfaithful back then? Without my respect for Grandpa holding me back, I would have dragged 100 reporters here today, just to expose him and see if my dad even felt an ounce of shame. Right then, Olivia's voice echoed nearby. I barely had the energy to shoot her a tired glare. Seeing her approach, I panicked. I jumped up, fully intending to escape to my car. Now pay attention here, because I sat for so long. The second I stood up, everything went dark. My legs completely gave out, nearly sending me to the floor. Ethan! Olivia rushed over, looking totally frantic. I slammed against the wall, trying to find my balance, and barked out coldly, "Stay away from me!" She froze instantly, stopping just a few steps away. Then, with a super gentle voice, she whispered, "I am not trying to hurt you. Let me drive you home." Watching me grit my teeth and suffer through it all by myself, it completely shattered her heart. Heavy breaths left my chest as I leaned there, totally ignoring her. 2 seconds later, I swallowed the pain and stumbled toward my ride. but Olivia refused to take a hint. She stubbornly trailed me, her fragile voice echoing in the quiet space. "Ethan, why would Serena leave you alone to face this nightmare? Just let me take you to a doctor for a checkup, please." By the very end, her words turned into a truly desperate plea. That stopped me completely. She probably thought she finally broke through to me. "Ethan," she murmured hopefully. I slowly turned around, but my eyes held zero warmth. All she found was absolute freezing emptiness. I let out a mocking laugh and snapped, "Olivia, do you seriously not understand basic words? I never want to see you." The hopeful smile on her face disappeared instantly. Stumbling backward, she stared at me like she could not believe it. Pure agony washed over her eyes. Biting her lip, tears threatened to fall as her voice went totally rough. "Ethan, I know I messed up so badly. What do you need me to do for forgiveness? Just name it, I will do it." My glare was packed with pure disgust as I held up a hand, stopping her advance. Her eyes brimmed with heavy tears, her words shaking slightly. "We have been friends for so many years. Are you seriously going to be this totally cold? You and I know exactly where this is going." Channeling Serena's icy vibe, I smirked. "Know why I accepted you without Grandpa pushing it? I never would have picked you. Just knowing you had some history with Hugo was enough to instantly cross you off my radar." Hearing that, Olivia's expression completely shattered. A memory flashed across her face and she stared with conflicted eyes. "Ethan, did you actually never care about me?" I just chuckled. "Sure, I liked you once, but the second you started endlessly circling back to Hugo, that feeling completely died out. I am incredibly stubborn. When I make a firm choice, even if I smash face first into a brick wall, I am not turning back. Back then, I genuinely dropped all my issues to be yours. But right now, I honestly never want to look at you again. If you want to avoid my absolute disgust for the rest of your days, then stop showing up in my space. Just walk away." This is the final shred of respect I have left. In my previous timeline, even if my tragic end was not her direct fault, she was definitely involved. I just could not ever forgive her. Her eyes gleamed red, looking like her very soul was ripped out. She suddenly collapsed inward, burying her tearful face deep in her hands. Heavy tears slipped right through her trembling fingers, hitting the dark pavement. I refused to offer another glance. I spun on my heel, marching straight to my car and bailing from the lot without turning around. Olivia stood completely frozen, squeezing her fists so forcefully her nails dug right into her palms. Intense pain flared, but she did not care. Her wild, tear-stained eyes locked onto my fading shape. Then her lips curled into this terrifying, obsessive smile. "Ethan, do not even dream of escaping. You will only ever belong to me." By the time I finally reached home, night had fallen. Drained beyond belief, I just wanted to crash. The second I dropped onto my couch, a very familiar voice echoed out. "Hubby, why are you home so late?" I practically jumped. Serena was right there. She stepped closer, her signature lovely scent wrapping around me instantly. I stared up at her. Only dim streetlights illuminated the dark room. "Trust me, you and I are completely hooked. Let's dive into this wild romance right now." I couldn't see her expression, but her intense energy was obvious. I whispered, "Why return? I thought your business trip would last much longer." Serena reached out, gently stroking my cheek as she lowered her sweet voice. "I was so worried you were getting bullied here, so I rushed back just for you." Paying close attention, her deep emotional concern was undeniable. After saying that, Serena just stayed perfectly quiet. She quietly sat beside me, wrapping her arms around me in a warm hug. All that frustrating family drama with my dad and Olivia just instantly melted away while resting in her embrace. I gave her a huge smile. "You rushed all the way back. You haven't even had time to eat yet, right? What are you craving tonight?" That single smile from me was actually enough to make Serena drop every single one of her defenses. We were only apart for a few short days, but to her it honestly felt like a separation lasting many years. That intense feeling of reuniting with someone only to be terrified of losing them all over again is just so heartbreakingly heavy. Serena swallowed, her gaze turning super intense as she suddenly whispered, "Can I take the lead this time?" I froze, my face completely burning up, feeling so incredibly lucky she could not see my totally flustered expression. Without my quick response, her expression faded, pressing her lips together with a hint of true sadness in her eyes. I suddenly mumbled a tiny complaint. "Are you even human? You never think about normal meals. You only want to devour me instead." Even though I spoke in a super quiet whisper, since we were this ridiculously close, she heard everything. Serena stayed totally silent for a moment before suddenly bursting into genuine laughter. Her laugh was absolute music to my ears. She happily reached out softly, rubbing my warm cheek, and gently promised to listen to me. "I will behave myself. So can we go grab some delicious dinner now? I was stuck flying for hours. I am just completely famished." Her beautiful voice actually carried a rare hint of adorable whining. Totally amused, I gave her hand a gentle pat and stood up to change shoes. Walking out the front door, Serena gripped my hand with joyful tightness. "Now pay close attention here." The chilly night air made her shiver slightly. Instantly, I draped my warm coat right over her shoulders. Serena quickly turned back, her sparkling eyes full of sweet confusion. "If I take your thick coat, will you not freeze?" Her clear gaze somehow made my entire body run completely hot. Flashing a gentle smile, I said that girls just naturally need a bit more warmth. As I spoke, my eyes dropped toward her long legs. "If you wear a skirt in freezing weather again, I will honestly scold you forever." Serena playfully stuck her tongue out, making a super silly face. Then super smoothly, she slipped her tiny hand right into my arm, silently sharing her comforting warmth with me. After grabbing dinner, we finally headed home. I headed to the bathroom and started drawing a warm bath, hoping Serena could take a relaxing soak to wash away all her travel exhaustion. Suddenly it hit me, she brought 0 luggage. That meant she had to leave again later. So why did she even bother rushing back tonight? Totally lost in thought, I completely missed Serena quietly stepping right behind me. Catching me entirely zoned out, a smirk appeared on her lips. Noticing the bathtub about to overflow, she playfully asked if I was planning to submerge her in there. I instantly snapped back to reality. Seeing the tub dangerously full, I hurriedly stood up to cut the water. Completely panicked, I fumbled hard, accidentally splashing hot shower water all over Serena's pristine shirt. "You see where this is going, right?" Her white button-down shirt was completely soaked, faintly showing the outline underneath. Serena stared directly at me, tracing my awkward gaze downward. She slowly raised a single eyebrow, flashing an incredibly mischievous smile my way. "Hubby, are we actually taking a romantic couple's bath together?" My face burned completely red as I quickly shielded my eyes. "Let's keep things innocent." Serena chuckled, sounding absolutely dangerously seductive. Pulling my hands down, she stepped incredibly close until our breathing mixed. She definitely noticed my nervous tension, and she refused to ever force my boundaries. She was totally willing to wait until I felt genuinely ready. Flashing another beautiful smirk, she kept endlessly teasing. "You still aren't leaving. Do you seriously want to share this bathtub with me?" My cheeks burned up so fiercely. It took a solid hour back in my own room before her gorgeous little chuckle stopped echoing in my mind. We were only apart for just a few days. So why did Serena suddenly seem so out of this world? I pinched my warm cheeks and inhaled deeply several times. It took ages to finally get my racing heart fully under control. Out of nowhere, the cell phone beside me started loudly ringing. I grabbed it quickly to check. My buddy Carter had just dropped a group chat message. "Ethan is your father, stirring up more family trouble again." My expression darkened, absolutely refusing to drag my best friends into this nightmare. Before I could even type, Carter fired off another text. "Listen, man, we are brothers. You must share everything honestly." He heard Hugo is hosting a concert. "Is it connected?" "Trust me, you and I absolutely must see what happens next." "All right, come along with me." I finally told my friends about my dad's crazy plan. Hot-headed Carter absolutely lost it, screaming about instant karma. "You're his actual son," Carter yelled out. I just gave a tired smile. "It's fine. I can totally handle this. Time for sleep." Sending the text, I tossed my phone aside and just passed out. It was supposed to be a quick nap, but I crashed hard. Next thing I knew, a really loud knock on the front door pulled me from my deep sleep. Serena called out, sounding super worried. It took me a second to actually wake up. "I'm completely fine," I shouted back. Dead silence outside. She didn't say anything else. Throwing on some clothes, I rushed right over to open the door. Surprised Serena was actually still waiting right there for me. Looking anxious, she said I wasn't answering her knocks. I quickly calmed her down, then suddenly noticed something missing. "Wait, where exactly was all her luggage? Are you heading out soon?" She nodded. "Yeah, 6 a.m. flight tomorrow morning." Her voice was just a soft whisper by my ear, making my heart actually skip a beat. I looked at her completely and totally shaken. I knew exactly why she rushed back here. Not going to lie, it really moved me. She genuinely cared about me so much, deeply and truly. I looked down and whispered softly, Serena, you really do not have to be this good to me. What if someday you want a divorce, I asked, but honestly, I could not even finish my tragic thought. You see where this is going, right? I hadn't fully fallen for her yet. We were best friends who just rushed straight into a crazy marriage without ever going on a single real date. I was terrified of eventually breaking her heart and ruining her genuine feelings. So whenever she got close, I immediately pulled away. But the absolute second she heard me say that, her sweet, gentle smile just completely froze on her face. Without a single word, she stepped right up and pulled me into a tight hug. Ethan, we are a married couple now. Since our wedding, a divorce has never crossed my mind once. Her grip tightened, her fingers physically trembling. Smiling faintly, she leaned in and whispered, I have dreamed about this exact intimate moment more times than I can count. My face instantly burned. Totally awkward and panicking, I hurriedly blurted out, You should really get some sleep. I will wake you up later. Serena just sat on the bed edge, staring right back up at me. Ethan, are you seriously in such a massive hurry to chase me away? She curled a finger, motioning for me to come closer. With a sweet smile, she asked if my dad was causing drama again. Bingo. That was absolutely why she had rushed all the way back. Thinking fast, I firmly claimed I could handle it myself. Serena scoffed, clearly annoyed. How on earth will you manage all of that alone? Watch closely here. Those guys are crafty old foxes targeting you. They will chew you up until absolutely nothing is left behind. She was totally underestimating me, I proudly fired back. I have my own brilliant methods to defeat those crafty old business foxes. Serena just laughed. So what's the big plan? My expression slowly darkened. After thinking deeply, I explained it. They want to use company shares to crush me. I will just wait patiently for their next big move, then strategically counterattack them step by step. You really do not need to worry about me. Staring at her very seriously, I added, You have your own busy career too. I don't want to cause you any trouble. Serena looked down and whispered softly, Your issues are never a burden to me. She clearly hated when I kept my emotional distance from her like this. She much preferred when we argued and bickered exactly like we did back in our school days. After chatting longer, I promised I would report the ongoing situation to her every single day. Only then did she finally agree to go get some actual sleep. Setting her alarm, I crashed in the living room. The next morning, I woke up to find Serena totally dressed and already waiting for me downstairs. The living room lights were still blazing bright. Frowning slightly, she slowly stepped right into the kitchen. I was wearing an apron, cooking up a total storm. Inside a thermos sat a beautiful breakfast and a cup of special energy-boosting tea. Serena leaned quietly against the doorframe, a genuinely warm feeling slowly filling up our brand-new home. Life is totally full of unpredictable turns, but her biggest teenage dream from back then had finally become reality today. She honestly believed that maybe she would never get a single chance to be part of my world. Our family statuses were totally worlds apart, but years later, even with all her massive influence, she never once tried to force my hand. Instead, she took a massive gamble on us, and thankfully, she completely won. Finishing up the food prep, I turned around and caught Serena standing by the door. Feeling shy, I smiled and placed the food thermos directly into her waiting hands. Eat this in the car and please sleep on your flight, I told her. Serena just stared at me. Then, with a playful little smirk, she softly asked, Ethan, are you finally starting to fall for me? My eyes twitched. I honestly didn't know how to answer. You and I know he's falling, seeing me panic. She didn't push, just smiled and said, Thanks for the hard work, hubby. Come along with me, this story gets wild. I nodded quickly, walking her out. After watching her drive away, I finally shut the front door, fully intending to catch up on my sleep. But honestly, after an interruption like that, catching sleep was totally impossible. Sitting straight up, I opened my diary and grabbed a photo. Serena was completely missing from my high school graduation picture. Back in 11th grade, her family hit major rock bottom. She was completely forced to carry her collapsing family on her own shoulders, fighting off incredibly greedy relatives all by herself. I only knew that after surviving years of their abuse, Serena personally sent those exact people straight to prison. When she finally showed up on the news again, her vibe completely changed from the girl I once knew. Whatever happened back then, I stand by her now. That previous life moment where she bolted through heavy traffic just to reach me remains permanently burned into my memory. By the next day, probably fueled by Serena's support, I marched back into work feeling totally energized. Assistant Luke casually knocked on my office door, bringing me a fresh coffee. Remembering the exact person he bumped into out there, he nervously hesitated before speaking. CEO Ethan, earlier today, Richard actually brought Mr. Hugo to the company. My typing fingers suddenly froze right over the keyboard, yet my eyes stayed completely calm. Checking my current mood, Assistant Luke smartly dropped his voice. I heard Mr. Hugo actually came here distributing special invitation tickets. Raising one eyebrow, my hands went back to typing non-stop while casually replying. Ignore him. Any important meetings scheduled for this afternoon? Assistant Luke simply shook his head. Nope, but you still need to tour the construction site today. Giving a soft grunt, I sipped my coffee and nodded. Good job. Come along with me later. Smiling slightly, Assistant Luke quietly closed up his file folder. Way too polite, CEO Ethan. I will head out now. A bit later that morning, another knock hit my office door. Now pay close attention here. Still busy, I just casually yelled enter. Hugo literally wheeled himself inside, sounding completely calm. CEO Ethan got a minute to chat. Glancing past him, I spotted my own dad standing outside watching us closely. Hugo's eyes screamed total anxiety. Checking my wristwatch, I dropped my voice entirely. 5 minutes max. Hugo slowly nodded, pushing his wheelchair closer while speaking softly. Ethan, I refuse those corporate shares. You honestly shouldn't feel pressured anymore. I just stared at him, a slight smirk curling up my lips while I relaxed back into my chair. What exactly is this supposed to mean? Rushing all the way over here just to loudly declare you reject the shares. Wow, Hugo, you really played this pathetic trick perfectly. If you genuinely did not want them, why not just tell the man standing right outside our door? Sipping my coffee again, my cold gaze remained totally indifferent, absolutely ignoring Hugo. Besides, I never even planned on giving them to you. Hugo visibly stiffened up. Ethan, you really do not need to act so hostile. He paused, exhaling slowly. Inheriting this company isn't my goal. I actually plan to retire from entertainment right after finishing my final concert, shifting focus entirely toward preparing for marriage. He never stated who he was marrying, but we both knew exactly. Hugo watched me super closely, desperate to catch any emotional reaction on my face, but I gave him absolute zero, calmly continuing my daily work. Right halfway through, I even grabbed a call. Finally glancing up, I casually told him to stop sharing his personal business. I simply don't care. I have serious work to do, so you can leave now. My attitude wasn't exactly amazing, but it definitely wasn't terrible either. Sitting in front of Hugo, I really tried my absolute best hiding my true emotions. We both feel that tension, right? Watch this. Before opening the door to leave, Hugo's lips twitched, suddenly turning his head back. Ethan, do you genuinely not like Olivia anymore? All this time, Hugo practically shadowed Olivia everywhere she went. He personally watched her transition from a proud, glowing heiress into someone getting completely blackout drunk every single evening. He even saw with his own 2 eyes Olivia crying right below my apartment building. Calling him completely unbothered would be lying. He definitely loved Olivia for many long years. All those sketchy past events were totally orchestrated by him, strictly meant to drive me away. But the absolute second Olivia figured it out, she relentlessly hunted me down without hesitating for even a moment. Hugo never truly claimed Olivia's heart, but regretted absolutely nothing. Ethan, are you seriously determined never to look back? Hugo truly believed that if he stayed entirely ruthless, he'd definitely find some clear way to win Olivia over. My eyes flashed pure mockery, my voice completely deadpan. Stop testing me. Olivia and I are forever done. With his hidden thoughts exposed, Hugo's face turned completely ghost white. He forced a pathetic little smile, then finally turned around and left. Waiting outside our door, my dad watched Hugo exit, and his expression instantly turned furious. Frowning heavily, he stepped forward to push Hugo's wheelchair himself, asking gently, Hugo, did Ethan actually bully you? Hugo quickly shook his head dramatically, choking back fake tears. No, Dad. I don't even want that division share anymore. Please stop bothering Ethan. Hearing this, my dad felt pure, absolute rage. What do you and I make of this? He deeply resented me. He forbade bullying Hugo, yet I totally refused to listen. Stick with me here. Hugo, what did Ethan say? Hearing this, Hugo broke down crying, his voice choked up with heavy sobs. Dad, I really want to see Olivia. His dad's face visibly darkened, warning him seriously. Hugo, in your current state, you definitely should not. Put simply, Olivia refused to see him. And honestly, Hugo knew that too. These past days, he only dared to quietly trail behind her. Seeing his absolute misery, his dad felt super guilty, his heart finally softening. All right, I will take you to her. Meanwhile, Serena finally finished her long meeting and headed back to the hotel. The second she walked in, Chloe pushed off the floor, sliding her entire chair right next to a tired Serena. Staring at her exhausted friend, she teased, "So, how did it go? Was last night an intense romantic showdown?" Instantly, she received a terrifying glare from Serena. Completely fearless, Chloe just leaned in a lot closer, playfully dropping her voice to a whisper. "Serena, we have been best friends for over 10 years. This is the first time I've seen you so stressed over a guy. Are you truly falling for Ethan?" Feeling like Chloe was just spouting total nonsense, Serena snapped back. "Do I seriously look like a player?" Chloe stayed quiet. In their friend group, Serena was honestly the most innocent. Even Olivia dated around, but Serena was in her 20s and totally single. "No, I was just super curious. You rushed back so frantically yesterday night. Was Ethan touched?" Hearing this, Serena felt pretty annoyed. "Touched my foot, she didn't even get a single kiss." Remembering that, Serena glanced over at Lily and asked, "Did my sweet father-in-law go cause major trouble for him today?" "Now, watch closely." Lily chose her words carefully, but when Hugo left CEO Ethan's office, his face looked absolutely awful. Looks like he got firmly put in his place. Very unexpected. Chloe's eyes widened in absolute shock. "No way! Ethan seems so gentle." Serena gave Chloe a look of pure pity, thinking her friend truly knew nothing about reality. Whoever said Ethan had a nice temper, he is just way too lazy to actually get mad at anyone. Back in school, she had endless shouting matches with Ethan. But no matter how sharp Ethan was, he could never beat her. Lily said nothing else, just carefully choosing her words as the room's atmosphere grew heavy. After her meeting earlier, Serena noticed an ignored message, leaving her with a pretty sour look on her face. Suddenly, her phone chimed with a loud notification. Serena quickly glanced down. It was a text from me. "Sorry, I was at the construction site and missed your text. Are you finally done with the meeting? Do you want to rest early tonight?" Staring at that sweet message, the corners of Serena's mouth instantly curled into a smile. Sitting nearby, Chloe got super curious and quickly leaned over for a peek, only to get playfully smacked by Serena. "We all felt that, right?" Chloe rubbed her head, complaining, "Serena, how old are you? Why act so shy like some newly lovesick kid?" Serena scoffed. "Whatever." She instantly typed her reply. "If I could just hear my hubby's voice, I would not feel tired anymore." Seeing her cute message, a slight smile tugged at my lips. I immediately grabbed my phone and called her. Serena excitedly grabbed her phone and stepped outside. Chloe shouted after her, "Serena, where are you going?" Flashing a bright smile, she replied, "Secret." The second she stepped out of that room, she practically jumped to answer his incoming call. My voice echoed through the speaker. "Meeting done. Thanks for working so incredibly hard today. Make sure you drink lots of warm water." Serena beamed. "Ethan, are you actually worried about me?" I stubbornly shot back, obviously. "I am honestly terrified something might happen to you in a foreign land, and I won't be there to rescue you." Serena let out a sweet laugh and smiled. "Silly hubby, relax. Even if I disappear, all my assets are yours." Hearing her ridiculous joke, I chuckled softly. "Stop talking total nonsense. You barely slept yesterday, so make absolutely sure you rest early tonight." Serena cheerfully agreed, acting just like a kid getting a prize. Then I softly asked, "When are you returning?" Serena's eyes widened, totally doubting she heard correctly. She paused to confirm it before speaking up. "Hubby, are you missing me right now?" But I answered, "Next week is old Mrs. Lincoln's birthday." I paused, carefully listening for her reaction. Even with everything that happened between me and Olivia, old Mrs. Lincoln was always incredibly kind to me. Instantly, Serena's heart ached with pain, her face turning slightly pale. "Do you actually want to go?" I explained. "Old Mrs. Lincoln practically watched me grow up. Over the years, she treated me incredibly well." Serena took a heavy, deep breath. She could never interfere between me and Olivia, but just picturing me seeing my ex made her heart ache badly. Things are already like this, yet it is still not enough. Sensing her sad mood, I softly called out, "Serena." She tried her best to make her voice sound gentler. "If you want to go, then go." But right at that moment, I just laughed out loud. "I want to go with you. Trust me, you will love this ending." I laid on my bed and a text popped up, a cute selfie from Serena. She was relaxing on her bed, wearing some simple pajamas, pulling the soft blanket up over herself, with a totally gentle smile resting on her face. "Listen up, hubby almighty, I am already resting in bed," I replied. "Good night. Stick with me here." I tossed my phone, opened my laptop, and worked. That big project on the east side of the city had to wait until Serena finally returned to our company to officially kick off. When that finally happened, the two of us would definitely have so many interactions. But the absolute biggest issue right now was figuring out how to handle Olivia's grandmother's upcoming birthday next week. Honestly, I could just skip it, but old Mrs. Lincoln was getting up there. With every passing year, there weren't many birthdays left to celebrate. Plus, she treated me amazingly well. I just couldn't break her heart over the super messy relationship between me and Olivia. After finishing my work emails, I checked my phone. It was already 11 p.m. Serena had just sent a single simple message, "Good night." And absolutely nothing else. Honestly, she was playing a clever little mind game, purposely sending a cute selfie hoping I would have some big reaction. Who knew I would be as completely dense as a wooden block just telling her to rest early? Serena was so frustrated she almost laughed, but quickly comforted herself. "Do not get mad. Do not get mad. I picked this husband myself." Then, while eagerly waiting for my message, she fell asleep. The next morning, I had no clue what Hugo told my dad yesterday. But early in the meeting, he kept picking faults aggressively, nitpicking every single tiny detail. No matter how good my temper was, I just couldn't stop frowning. Finally, with a super cold expression, I suspended the meeting. "Now pay close attention here. Massive trouble hit our company. A senior director cooked the books, stole 50 million yuan, and totally fled. I instantly called the police and simultaneously ordered the finance department to audit all the company accounts and send them to me for review. But while I was so extremely busy, my head was spinning. Things over at Olivia's house weren't peaceful either. For old Mrs. Lincoln's birthday bash, Olivia really wanted to use this big opportunity to see me, so she told her younger sister Mia to send an invite, insisting I absolutely had to attend the banquet. Mia was the sweet granddaughter of old Mrs. Lincoln's absolute best friend. Tragically, her entire family perished in a sudden accident, leaving only her. Back then, when she was first brought to the Winston household, she was only 5, so the whole family treated her just like their own biological granddaughter. Sweet Mia loved totally clinging to me since childhood. When she found out her older sister and I were together, she was happier than anyone else. But who could have ever predicted that ultimately her sister would be the one to foolishly run away from the wedding? So when Olivia made such a highly unreasonable request, Mia flatly refused. After all, she was basically raised single-handedly by old Mrs. Lincoln. Her features were proper, and her moral compass was absolutely even more proper. She looked at Olivia, feeling intense pity and anger, her tone super sarcastic. "Sister Ethan is married now. What is the actual point of clinging to him now? You were the one who abandoned him to chase Hugo. When you did that, did you ever actually consider his feelings? Did you even consider how much awful gossip he'd have to face? And now you act deeply in love. It is nauseating." We all felt that burn, right? Olivia never expected her own sweet sister would actually call her nauseating. Her heart felt incredibly suffocated, deep pain flashing in her eyes. "Sister Mia, just help me this one last time, please. I recently heard Ethan's family is going through a seriously tough time. I am genuinely worried. I used my alternate account to text him, but he totally knew it was me and deleted it instantly. I call him, but he literally never answers. I truly just want to help him out." Saying that, Olivia looked at Mia with pleading eyes. She hadn't expected me to be so completely ruthless, feeling an unspeakable pain inside her heart. This morning, Mia looked at her older sister with a wild mix of pity and furious anger. She frowned and said, "Sister, we were both raised by Grandma. How did our personalities actually turn out so completely different? Honestly, telling you the truth, this wishy-washy, indecisive behavior of yours, even I find it super annoying to watch. Let alone comparing to Serena, you are totally out of her league. But Ethan is happily married now, do you even understand? Legally speaking, he is Serena's husband, not yours." Olivia's lips trembled, her tearful eyes filled with heavy remorse and regret. Mia couldn't take it anymore. She gently patted her sister's shaking shoulder. "The past is in the past. I see Ethan is super happy now. Stop bothering him." Olivia's eyes turned red and she loudly screamed in despair. "Serena has not brought him any happiness at all. I cannot accept this. Just this once, why couldn't he just patiently wait for me?" Mia looked at her sister helplessly. If it wasn't for their deep sibling bond, she simply wouldn't even bother talking to her. What kind of crazy attitude was this traitor suddenly waking up and turning back to chase their ex? Why didn't she cherish it back then? Did she not understand that being late only leaves you with bitter regret? But at the end of the day, Mia still truly loved her sister. She sighed. "I'll contact Ethan. Trust me, you'll want to see what's next." Hearing this, a spark of joy hit Olivia's eyes. Stick with me here, drama is brewing. Mia glared. Just stop, do not thank me, and never pull this wild stunt again. Brother Ethan and I have an awesome bond, unlike a certain someone who played dirty tricks just to hurt him. Muttering completely under her breath, she texted me, Brother Ethan, are you coming to my grandma's big birthday? But after waiting forever, I just left her on red. Mia shrugged. Honestly, I wouldn't show up either. He definitely avoids you right now. Olivia stared fixedly at her phone screen, eyes completely red and tired. Suddenly an idea sparked. She immediately left and ran straight over to my company. Right then, I was checking ledgers when the receptionist called. CEO Ethan. Miss Olivia is downstairs. She wants to see you. I was completely exhausted and truly did not want to see her at all. I replied with pure ice, absolutely not. The receptionist glanced at Olivia, adding nervously, CEO Ethan, she claims she can help solve your current major problem. I let out a cold laugh, then told the receptionist to hand her the phone. Ethan. The moment Olivia spoke, her voice was soft and gentle, exactly like the old days. But honestly, hearing it just made my stomach totally churn. I rubbed my aching head, keeping my tone super frosty. What exactly do you want? No, Olivia said softly. I can help with Hugo's shares. As for the company ledger issue, I have strong connections who can easily handle it. I hate seeing you struggle like this. Can you just meet me once? Please, Ethan, consider it my thanks for everything you did for me over these past 2 years, okay? Her tone overflowed with deep affection, but I only found it completely laughable. Now watch closely. I spun my pen. How exactly will you help me? Olivia spoke seriously. Hugo wants shares, right? I will transfer all my Winston Corporation shares to him. This way you won't be in a tough spot. As for the ledgers, I already asked someone to investigate for you. I expect results very soon. I rubbed my tired forehead, my voice completely ice cold. Olivia, do you honestly think I can trust you right now? Hearing this, she totally froze, taking forever to actually react. I genuinely just want to help you out, I sneered. No need, I will handle my own business. The only reason I answered was to declare I already have a wife. After dropping that bomb, I bluntly hung up, giving her zero chance to speak. Putting the phone away, I was in no mood for work. I stood up, pacing the room several times. Right then, Assistant Luke entered, placing cake on my desk. I was surprised. What is this? Luke smiled. This is the cake CEO Serena ordered. She said if you are in a bad mood, you should eat something sweet. Once Luke left the room, I grabbed the fancy cake box, set it down, snapped a quick photo, and happily sent it to Serena. She replied fast. Feeling better yet? I asked, totally puzzled. How did you know? Did you install a hidden camera? Serena smirked. Do you believe in husband and wife telepathy? I sent an emoji, put the phone down, and focused on eating. Sure enough, my mood improved significantly. That sweet cake flavor slowly washed away my entire exhausting day. But trust me, you and I know this is just the calm before the real storm.